Hey everybody, welcome back to My Green Pets. I'm William Green. I've been gone for the past couple of weeks visiting family, but I'm back. And there's a lot of cool stuff that has happened while I'm gone. Man, 2 weeks, a lot of things happened in 2 weeks. While I was gone, I had pretty much all my orchids back at the greenhouse. And so it's interesting because the transitioning these slipper orchids from a cool, dry apartment to a hot, humid greenhouse, there were definitely some brown leaves when I came back. I think all the flowers wilted, of course. So I'm glad to have them back here in a little bit more temperate environment. I've got my Bulbophyllum Lovely Elizabeth here as well because I'm going to try to get it to bloom. And the way I'm going to try to do that is I'm going to try to let it dry out a little bit, and I'm not going to fertilize it at all. Those are the only two things that I can think of that really changed when I moved it from where I used to live to the greenhouse. It used to live outside in the summer, all summer long, 4 or 5 months in the heat and humidity of the south, lots of good rain, and not very often did it get fertilized. So we're going to see. Up here, I don't know if I can show it. Yes, my Clivia miniata threw out a surprise spike, which was pretty amazing. The flowers were really small though, but that's okay. Still, 2 blooms a year out of this guy. I'm thrilled. The leaves are still looking great. Thank you to my plant sitter. And then look at this little guy, Vanda falcata. Wow, are you kidding me? It's got so many flowers this year. This spike is starting to kind of fade a little bit, but wow, right? So nice. Now this plant absolutely loves the greenhouse. It gets lots of fertilizer, lots of sun, heat, humidity, and it loves it. It absolutely loves it. It has like tripled in size since I brought it to the greenhouse. So it really likes the conditions in there. Super happy with this little guy. So pretty and smells so nice in the evening. But what I find is that in a dry apartment, it doesn't smell very much. There has to be some humidity in the air to be able to smell it. My cattail orchid, I cut off the big spike because it was pretty much done, but it still has a little one over here. My big prime child is growing. These 2 growths are pretty much done. So we might get lucky and see some flowers come out of here. I don't know. And then finally, my wonky Phalaenopsis has bloomed. Look, it's white. Love white phals. Aren't they beautiful? So the wonkiness ended up not being so bad. I mean, the stem is kind of funny looking, but as it's come up here and made a sharp turn towards the window, it's kind of nice. So definitely happy about that. Oh, it's got some pink along the edges too there. Look at that. So yeah, things are doing well. Let's go out to the greenhouse, and I got so much to show you out there. Get ready. It's gonna be good. And here we are back in the greenhouse. I was so happy to come in. In fact, I came in to my apartment, dropped my stuff off, and went straight over to the greenhouse. So I was really excited to get back over here and see what's going on. A lot of things, and some of them were surprises, but we're actually going to start out with the bad news. So the bad news is that this Stanhopea oculata is not looking any better. In fact, it's looking a little bit worse. This leaf in particular is absolutely covered in these spots that I think are from some kind of systemic fungus, and the new growths are largely okay, but there are spots that are starting to appear on the new growths as well. In fact, the way that this fungus seems to work is it carves out these little paths in the leaves, and then you can kind of see those little circular things, and then they kind of expand into these big ugly brown spots. So I was also watching this Bulbophyllum lobbii to see if it was going to develop spots on the new growths, and it looks like one of the new leaves does have a couple of spots on it, but the other new leaf doesn't. So I guess we could say that this is an improvement, and it actually has one more new leaf that looks pretty clean at this point too. But I'm wondering if it's still not a result of being right next to that Stanhopea, so keeping an eye on that. Bulbophyllum medusae is completing several new growths. It's got like 7 new growths on it. And the leaves are looking a little bit darker right now as well, so that's a good thing. They were looking really yellow before. Here's a little Cattleya rex seedling, just finished 2 new leaves. My Rhyncholaelia Aristocrat still really hasn't done anything since I divided it back in April. This is Jessie Lee, which has got 2 new growths popping out. One of them's already had a sheath. And one thing about this hybrid is that the leaves don't open up. They stay kind of closed, which is kind of weird to me, but new growth there, and hopefully a spike coming out of that one. A couple new growths on this little Cattleya rex, and then look at this. 2 weeks, and boom, the buds on number 3, this is Cattleya rex number 3, are well out, and I would say within a few days of blooming. So that is super exciting. I'm glad that I didn't miss it. Sometimes my orchids like to bloom when I'm away, which I don't think is very nice. And then this is number 4, and number 4's got 2 buds on it as well. So I'm a little disappointed at the number of buds, but hey, for a first bloom, I'm not going to complain. It seems like the plastic bag technique worked. I didn't have any further instances of rot while I was away. But check this out, Cattleya maxima. This sheath was completely empty when I left. When I come back, it is full of buds popping out the top. So we're going to get to see Cattleya maxima. And this is a Carulia type as well, so it's got bluish flowers. Under that is our Phalaenopsis schilleriana that had some kind of fungal infection on the leaves. It's already dropped 1 leaf, and this other leaf is going to come off soon. But it does have a nice new leaf that looks clean. So fingers crossed that's going to stay clean, and the fungus problem is going to be over for another year. Also, I want to introduce you to 2 new plants. As you know, I won the Carter and Holmes photo contest, and I used my gift certificate to buy 2 Cattleyas. One was this Cattleya trianaei, and then I also got a Cattleya Hardyana. And Hardyana is really cool because it's a hybrid that occurs in nature. These 2 species, Varsovicii and Dowiana, actually their range overlaps, so that hybrid exists in nature. And now here we are. This is the plant that had the seed pod, but as you can see, the seed pod's been taken off. More on that later. I'm going to make another video about the seed pod, but I took it off because it was starting to split. The new growth on this plant has got a little bit of wrinkling at the top, which is just showing how dehydrated it is. It really is on its last leg. But when last I left you, it was starting to put out roots, and I was a little bit worried that they were going to get damaged in the greenhouse. They have not so far. It's got good root growth continuing, and I still feel like that plant has a chance of surviving. I really, really hope so. The plant behind it, I got my finger on right there, that one bloomed last year with 3 flowers, and then the root system was so bad that it didn't bloom this year. But look at the catasetums. Oh my God, they're humongous. They are so big. Some of them are like getting close to like a meter tall, maybe. They're huge, and I am just really excited that that's going to translate into some spectacular flowers in the fall. Last year I had some pretty good growth too, and got a kind of a mixed blooming, some good, some not that good. Cattleya walkeriana, I got this from Stephen Van Campen Lewis a few months ago. It's completed 2 new growths, and one of the new growths actually has a little nubbin at the base. And I asked Stephen if he thought this could be a bloom spike. He says no, there'll probably be another growth and then maybe blooms in the spring. So fingers crossed for that. It's doing pretty well. Behind this huge catasetum type, I've got Dendrobium Country Girl, which was in bloom when I left it, but you know, the greenhouse is hot and humid and the flowers didn't last very long. And then of course we've got our good friend Hal in bloom to welcome us back to the greenhouse. And my project with Hal right now is to get him pollinated. I've got some pollen coming in from another grower in California from a different echinolabium plant, and hopefully we can get a seed pod going on Hal. So that is the update in a nutshell. And thanks for tuning in to My Green Pets, and I'll see you next time.